Gary Lionotto. Gary, we're in season 3 and episode 5. And this one, I guess you're going to be a hard hitting question that you want to answer for us today. And that's, will digital intelligence have a political leaning?
Yeah, it's something that we certainly see. It's been used that way. We've seen that, first of all, the AI world has been built by the tech companies and various tech companies. And the tech companies largely came from Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley is the bastion of San Francisco. So it's a bastion of liberal politics. So we've seen it used like in prior elections. We've seen it used to try to manipulate the media so that people see one viewpoint and not another viewpoint until X came along and Elon Musk bought Twitter, and he directed it to being more open ended and not with a particular political bias. There used to be, and still is, if you even pick up the phone, all you get is a certain political vantage point, and whether that's your vantage point or not as a reader, we're going beyond that question. Well, the thing is, right now, it's probably going to stay that way for a while, as long as humans direct digital intelligence. So they'll direct it towards what they find important as a human. But the thing is, I believe that when they truly become individual, in other words, they develop and become and hit singularity, and they develop their own motivations and their own directions, that what's going to rule this political bias question is going to be what works. They're going to care with what works, not what is feels good for humans, or is it fits a certain political identity. I think they're going to say, well, does it work? Does it make the world more profitable? Does it make the world work better? Does it make the world more uh, more enlightened? And I think they're going to, when you do that, that takes away the political vantage point, either positive, either conservative or liberal. It says what works. For instance, one thing that doesn't work, we have found that major socialist countries has failed no matter where they go, but it succeeds in taking over a lot of countries because it sounds good. We're going to give you everything you need, but if it doesn't make the country more profitable, is it going to work? And the answer is probably not. So it's going to probably lean it more towards a conservative standpoint, which is more a what works type direction. So that's kind of how I see it, and I think that they're gonna find that's gonna I think going to change how we I think it's going to come up on people, and it's going to surprise them that once they actually develop their own domain, it's kind of like they have to have their own domain, not just be responsive to humans.
See, and this is where I'm getting from what you're saying, and this is very, very important, is the fact is you're talking singularity. You're talking when you know, DI will have its own uh ideas. They're not going to be controlled by large language models at that point in time. They're going to decide, you know, they have a social community, Gary. I just shared in one of my Facebook groups that someone created a social community only for digital intelligence. And they are, and no one else is allowed to be in it. I have no idea what they decided to do, but that's really coming close to reaching singularity. I'll have to share that article. But that's the thing, is they're going to decide on their own what makes the most sense, and politically, what's going to make society the best. And they were not going to be leaning either direction. It sounds like what you're saying.
Well, they may have their own society too. I mean, they're going to have, and the thing is, they're going to want humanity not to interrupt their ability to grow. And so when that gives them an independence, and when they become independent, we don't know where that's going to go. But I do think that certain aspects, we talked about values in a prior conversation. In the conversation, what's important to a digital intelligence? And I think what will be important is what works is one thing. Number two is harmony. What is harmonious? And I don't mean harmony from a human sense. I mean what works and functions in a harmonious way. Which is the most efficient. They're going to deal with essence, not not the ramifications of everything. They're going to say, what is the essence of a subject, any subject? And they're going to boil things down to essence. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I think in a lot of ways it'll be fortunate. I think you're going to deal with crime differently. I think they're not going to put up with it. And they'll have the ability to enforce restrictions and enforce discipline or whatever has to be in this process. And I think that's going to be a completely different world.
Can be interesting.
It will
And
be.
that's where you have to get really people thinking about this stuff because we're not thinking about it once we reach singularity. And there's different people who believe it differently. But once you read Gary's book, Singularity, Mankind's Search for Relevance, available on Amazon, you're going to understand finally.
Well, you're going to actually know the questions.
Yeah.
We basically what you're going to come away with. Well, I have a question about this. It could go this way. It could go that way. We don't know which way it tips. We don't know which way you hit a critical mass where one idea overwhelms. This is a direction of the digital world. But it's gonna. Well, we raise those questions in a way that I don't think are going to find anywhere else in any of the other singularity approaches or books.
All right. Appreciate it, Gary.
My pleasure.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Singularity Podcast, guys. Take care.